Hey, what's going on? My name is Ryan Morgan. I am the founder of the Acquisition Network, and in this presentation, I'm going to do a quick pros and cons analysis between Shopify and acquisition automation. So if you're not familiar with the model of Shopify automation, it's a service where you hire a team to set up, start, grow, and manage a profitable Shopify business for you. Shopify is a marketplace platform where you can set up a website and sell products. And so what's different with Shopify versus Amazon automation is with Shopify is you own the website, but then you're responsible for driving traffic to that store. Versus with Amazon, the search results is what generates the traffic and it happens organically. And so this provides an incredible opportunity for clients because you are actually in control of the website, the data, the customers, but the marketing is very expensive and there's a lot of opportunity for you to fail. And so based upon my experience, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I've personally set up 80 different e-com stores. Not all of them were Shopify. The total of Shopify was like 30 to 40. And I did it with 2 separate companies and not one of the stores worked. And not one of the companies ever reached out to me to try to make things right. And they just took the money and didn't deliver. And I'm here to make this video to spread awareness about the flaws of this model, why it doesn't work, why it won't work for you, why it's very unlikely that it'll work, and why I'd recommend that you not invest into those services. And instead, if you are going to invest 25, 50K into a done-for-you automation service, you should instead hire people to help you buy a business that's already running instead of hiring someone to start a business from scratch. And when more awareness is spread about this acquisition automation model, it's actually going to completely debunk the idea of starting a company from scratch. And these same people that are offering the service of Shopify automation, they're going to realize that it's significantly easier to charge people to buy a business that's already running rather than charging them to start something from scratch. It's very difficult to start any type of business. Imagine trying to start 10, 20, 30 businesses and run them, start them, and grow them at scale. It's literally impossible, and that's why it doesn't work. And so I'm going to go over the pros and cons of Shopify and acquisition automation and why, like I said, if you had 25 to 50K available, you should hire a team to help you buy a business for you rather than start one from scratch. Okay, so let's start off with pros. So the pros of Shopify is, what's very attractive about it is there's like significant cash flow that's generated through these stores. You may or may not have seen the screenshots of people making $20,000, $30,000 a month through these stores if the marketing is done correctly and you have the correct product that you're selling. Next pro, so this versus buying an Amazon store, is you actually get the customer list. So with the customer list, you can do remarketing to it. You have an email list where you can sell products or services, or what the value of that customer list is it makes the website a sellable asset where you can get a multiple on the revenue that you're generating. So say your store is doing $1 million a year, you could sell it for 3 to 4 million, and that's the big vision that is sold on the opportunity to get into Shopify automation. Unfortunately, most stores will never reach that point where it's available for exit because it can't even create profitability on the advertising. And so that's the biggest con, is marketing is very expensive. And so the reality is when you start a store, you have to pay a service fee to have someone set it up. They have to find good products, and then you have to have additional capital to run the advertisements. And so marketing is very expensive. Another con is offshore staff. I should also put is finding products. This is a huge con. Is the whole basis of making money with Shopify is doing impulsive purchasing through social media. And the reality is any product that's being sold on social media, it's going to be trending, meaning it's not going to last forever. You can't just keep running the same ad selling this marker, for example. There's going to be a point when people aren't going to want to buy this marker through the ad. They're going to realize that they can just buy it physically at a store, or it's just not going to be cool anymore. And so that's the biggest con in terms of you hiring someone to start up a Shopify store for you. Is like, yes, they can pitch you on, hey, look, there's thousands of products available, but the reality is not every product is profitable, and there's only a limited number of good products at any market season. And so if you hire someone to find a product for you and set up a store for you when they already have multiple stores running, how can you ensure that you're going to get the best product? You actually can't. What's going to happen is they use your money to run more ads successfully on the products that are already working, and very likely what's going to happen is you're going to have a store that's not functioning well. They'll show you that it's running and they're trying to do it, but you're not going to get the very best products because there's only a limited amount of products that actually can make money. And so that's one of the biggest cons, is that they use offshore staff to find these quality products, but there's a limit to number of quality products. And so that's obviously the saturation is a huge con. And the biggest con to Shopify, I would say, is the no transparency. Based upon my experience of working in the space, the companies that are doing the service for you, they're not going to give you access to all other stores. They're not going to give you the P&Ls of all the different businesses that they're running. They're also not going to connect you to all the other clients that have purchased their service. They're going to pitch you on why you should hire them to do the service for them. For you, you're going to get the store. They're going to give you stats. They'll give you a little calculator. You'll see what's coming in, and you may see nothing come in, and you're not going to be able to reach out to all the other clients. They don't have a community. They don't meet with you weekly and say, hey, here's the status of our entire portfolio. Here's how all of them are running. Here are the products that we're selling. You're not going to know what good products are selling. You're not going to have access to the other clients. And that is like the biggest red flag to me if you're going to purchase the service. If you were going to find a company to hire to start a Shopify store from scratch, I would say, I want to have access to all of your clients and I want to be able to see all of your stores. And I guarantee you they're going to say no. They're going to give you 2 or 3 stores that are doing well, and that's it. And you're not going to get access to the clients. They're going to say, our clients are really high net worth, and they want their privacy protected. And if you hired us, you wouldn't want to have access to and right. And so don't do it. Please don't do it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. All right. And I'm going to explain to you how I created a business model that makes way more sense. It's way more transparent, and there's way more upside for us, the vendor, and there's a reason for us to complete the transaction. Whereas with Shopify, you're paying someone to start a store. You're hoping that you get a good product. You're hoping they invest their time, energy, and effort into that store while they already have other stores that you know for a fact that they have a vested interest in running. And so what happens is they use your money to go to those stores instead of the one that you started from scratch. Everybody knows that starting businesses is really difficult. So how can someone start multiple businesses at one successfully? Okay, and so this is why if you have 25 to 50K and you're looking for an alternative investment vehicle, I highly recommend you take a look at acquisition automation, which is the concept of hiring a team to help you buy a business that's already running. Now, the advantage with this business model is we're not starting something from scratch. It's already running. It's been running for years. All we have to do is take it over, install a manager, and maintain the cash flow that's already been functioning. Okay, and so the beautiful thing about this business model is that when that transaction is completed, you get equity and we get equity. So there's a real reason for us to complete the transaction in full because we both get something to gain. Now, the reason why we can't do this all on our own is because we don't have the liquidity to close all the deals, right? So for example, we have 20 qualified businesses in our deal flow pipeline. The cost to close all those transactions is $51 million. We're not liquid for that, and that's why we're looking for clients and partners like yourself to hire us to either invest into the software team and process to complete the transaction, or if you have the liquid capital, if you have a few $100,000, if you have access to SBA financing, you could actually close it and do the whole thing. If you can't close it, we can connect that deal to private equity groups in exchange for you investing into our service to keep the software going and developing the AI. So now I want to go through the pros and cons of acquisition. So what I'm going to do first is go through the cons. If you're not familiar with the idea of buying businesses, it's definitely very difficult. 96% of people that try to buy a business on their own fail, like if they buy a course. And that's why we created a team where you can hire a network of experts to help you complete the transaction. So collectively, our team has done over 350 transactions over the last 30 years. And so the biggest con of getting into acquisitions is it's just difficult. It's very hard if you don't have a team. It's very competitive. It's very expensive. So generating quality deals, it's time consuming. And if you want to do it on a professional level, you need to invest in the marketing. Like I said, it's very costly. And so this is why we're not able to do it all on our own, because we're investing every single month into our team, into our marketing, into our deal flow pipeline. We created a service where clients hire us. That helps fund our operations, allows us to complete our AI so that we can do our marketing cheaper and more effectively. Okay, so the next biggest con is it's time consuming, right? So the average acquisition takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months. With our service, we can complete these transactions in 6 to 12 months. And as our team grows, the bigger it gets, the faster that we're gonna be able to complete the transaction. Also, the more money that we're gonna be able to raise for the software, the faster we're gonna be able to complete it. So these are all reasons, these cons of like why it's too difficult for you to do it on your own. But you're not really looking to do it on your own because you were potentially considering investing into Shopify. And I'm explaining to you why instead of you hiring someone to start a business from scratch, you should hire a team to buy a business that's already running. So let's go through the pros. So the biggest pro of this model versus starting something from scratch is because it's already running, we acquire equity in cash flow from the day that the transaction is completed. So say you hire us, you get 10% equity, we get 10%, and then we buy a business valued at $3 million. That means $300,000 was added to your net worth, and it was also added to ours. Like I said, the reason why we can't do it all on our own is because we don't have the liquidity to complete these transactions. We're investing our cash into the software, into the AI to create the pipeline, because there's millions of millionaires that have that financing, but there's very few software companies that have a deal sourcing AI to generate qualified, vetted deals. Okay, the next pro is US staff, right? A lot of these e-com automation companies, they're taking your 25, 50K and then they're going off and hiring people offshore to do the work, and then they will hold you hostage for whatever reason, for the store, right? And so instead, you're hiring US staff that, like, we have doctorates, we have people with decades of experience that have transacted in 8 and 9 figures that you're investing into to complete this transaction for you. So that should just give you more confidence and clarity on why you should get involved with acquisition automation versus hiring offshore staff. The next pro is there's trillions in equity available. There's 75 million companies for sale, guys. There's literally no limit to the number of companies available. There's just a limit to software companies like ours that has a deal sourcing AI and team to streamline the process. And that's why it's a really big opportunity to get in with us now, because we only plan on doing this done for you service for 100 clients. At that point, we'll have enough capital raised and we'll be able to do it all on our own. Okay. The next pro is ownership of the asset. Like I said, when you acquire, you get equity, we get equity. There's complete transparency on the financials, the monthly reporting. You're an owner of the company. You literally have shares in the business. Next is the multiple on the resale. So when you acquire a company, say you get it at 3 million and we can grow it to 5 million, you could sell that business potentially for 7 or 8 million and you got in for 3, right? And so with our service at 50K, you could get 10% equity and turn that into $800,000 over the course of 3 to 5 years. So there's a massive multiple for us and you to not only acquire the company, but also improve, grow, and then resell that company. And so finally, the biggest pro is, I would say, we're the complete opposite on the lack of transparency. Is we offer like complete transparency. We have weekly reporting every Monday and Wednesday where you have direct access to my team and also my network of clients. And so on these meetings, we give you accountability reports on how the software is developing, how we're growing the company, how we're moving further to complete these acquisitions on your behalf. And we literally record everything. We have over 2,500 recordings of us building out the entire network from scratch. We outline exactly how we're spending our money into the software. We even offer our monthly spending habits, our statements, our reports. And everything is an open book. We're literally running this software company like a publicly traded firm, because that's exactly what we plan on doing in the next 3 to 5 years. Taking this tech company public, using that capital to raise more money, to make it faster and more efficient for people to buy businesses, because it's quite frankly like way too hard to do it on your own. And I also, one of the biggest reasons why I created this software company is I want to completely remove this business model from existence. Like I don't believe in it. I know there's a lot of shady companies out there that are just selling people a dream. They're showing them, hey, here are 3 good stores. Give me money to set up a store for you, and they just take their money and they leave them with nothing. They don't do anything. They don't hold any accountability. They don't offer refunds. They don't offer to connect clients with one another, and it's just it disgusts me, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I want to create the Acquisition Network to what I envision it to be, which is a unicorn tech company that's going to revolutionize the way that people buy and sell companies worldwide. And so if you've ever considered purchasing an Amazon store or Shopify store or any e-com store from scratch, please, I highly recommend you take a look at my free training, How to Profitably Buy a Business Without Doing the Work. It gives you all the detail on exactly how you can hire my team to buy a business that's already running versus starting a business from scratch. And one of my biggest aspirations with this business model and the growth of the company is to completely debunk the concept of starting companies from scratch, and eventually these people who are offering illegitimate services and aren't fulfilling, they're going to realize that instead of them charging people to start stores from scratch, they should adopt our model. And eventually I'm going to charge those people to learn what I'm doing so they can replicate it, because it makes much more sense for you, the client, if you want to own an e-com business, instead of you hiring an expert to start a store from scratch when he's already running 20 of them, you should hire him to go take over another store that's already running, and then his proven marketing and e-com system can help grow and resell that business, providing way more transparency and upside for both you, him, and everyone involved. And so, in conclusion, like I said, stop buying e-com stores from scratch. It's not going to work. Hire people to buy businesses that are already running. If you want to evaluate my team, check out my presentation, How to Profitably Buy a Business Without Doing the Work. I can even teach you how to set up your own team so you can buy as many profitable companies as you can imagine. I hope you got great value out of this presentation, explaining the differences between Shopify and acquisition automation. If you're interested in learning more, schedule a free consultation today. The future of doing business is now. Don't get left behind.